you have a good weekend?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I've also got my iPad ready in case. Um, in case we need to use a whiteboard today. Okay. All right. So 8:02, and as usual, we'll give the stragglers a chance to join class. I really should make a point in the syllabus next time to say, hey, guys, you should try to make it on time to class, especially since it's just an online class. There's no reason really that the class starts at 8 a.m. and you dribble into class at 8:10 or 8:15. And I can't imagine what else you might be doing other than sleeping, of course, or getting up late. So you got to plan for these things. But if you can't plan to get to class on time, um, um, yeah, well, it's one of the easy things to plan for. When you're writing a program, it's one of the easy things to plan for. Yes. So you got to get this right. Okay, so let me see who's here so far. And I am so glad that, this is the last week of classes. There's only 2 more classes, including this one to go. It's today and Thursday. And I am actually feeling a little sad that we only have 2 more classes. And even I know that a whole bunch of you are now enrolled in my CS2B, 2B for winter. And even though I'm going to see you all again, CS2B is not an online. It's not a face-to-face class. My CS2B is completely online, so we won't have these weekly face-to-face interactions like this. Of course, obviously, in CS2B, I am more than happy for you guys to get together and say, I want a face-to-face lecture on topic A, B, and C, right? So you make a list of some 3 or 4 topics that you guys collectively find very confusing. Not 2A, okay? 2A, we've covered pretty much all the topics. This is one, even, we've covered pointers also. We'll just touch upon a few things today. Maybe on Thursday, I'll talk a little bit about dynamic programming. So you're not, how simple it is really, the technique itself is simple. What is hard in dynamic programming is trying to come up with a dynamic programming way to solve a particular problem. What dynamic programming itself is actually a piece of cake. It's like saying, to put something on this table, all you have to do is just lift it up and put it on the table. That's how it is, right? So you know how to put it on a table, but suppose someone tells you, okay, well, you know how to put this on a table. Now I have this incredibly heavy, ingot of, a mountain of lead here. Okay, I need to put that on a table. Yeah, well, you know how to put it on the table, but for this particular problem, how do I do it? Because there's some nuances that I need to bring to bear. I need to first strengthen the table or do some wacky things before I actually do that, right? So even though the technique itself, putting things on the table, is straightforward, you know how to do it, you may have to figure out clever ways of implementing the technique in specific situations. That's where really, the difficulty that is usually associated with dynamic programming comes into the picture. Right. So let me see. What am I? Okay, maybe I need to unpin this video. Give me a sec. I want to make sure. It's funny. I don't know. Maybe I can pin this one. Okay. All right. So I think that's what I mean is to when people out there saying, oh, do you know DP and do you know how to solve this using DP? What they're asking really is not whether you know what DP is, because obviously it's very simple, What they're asking really is, do you know how to apply DP to find a solution to this problem? That is the challenge. That is a challenge. And there is no answer to that question, right? So you can go and ask anyone, right? The mastermind. You can go and ask John von Neumann, okay, if he's still alive. You know, he's not alive, right? You go and ask Albert Einstein or anyone in this world. Do you know the answer to solving any problem using DP? They'll say, no, I don't. What? I don't. Nobody knows the answer because each problem has its own way of solving it, using many techniques, of which DP is one. And you say, can you solve it using this technique? And they'll say, I don't know. Maybe DP is not the best way to solve it. Maybe I got to solve it in a different way. And so that's what people mean, right? So when people ask you or throw these terms at you and saying you don't have to be phased, you can say, well, I know what it is, but I don't know how to use it in this particular case. I don't think everybody knows that either. Maybe I can figure it out. I mean, that's the answer. And obviously we can talk about that in more detail on Thursday. I'll also give you some examples of DP problems that we can solve right here in class. Okay, so we'll take a very simple problem, solve it in a non-DP way, see how we're getting stuck, and then say, well, let's try and make that dynamic programming, right? So we'll use the techniques of DP to make that faster and maybe even tractable, right? Is it possible to solve in non-exponential time or something like that? Okay, so my today's lecture plan, class plan, really is to take pointers to the next level. We talked about pointers, which really is the last topic of CS2A, right? We talked about it last class, and we implemented a stack. So what I would like today is if someone other than anyone who's been up here multiple times, right? Meaning if you've only been up on stage and you've only danced one dance, right, in the past, it's open season for you. So you can take the screen, okay? If you've been up here multiple times, then I would prefer that you yield to someone else who could take a crack at this. So please do, and so what we need to do is let's pull up the code that, who was working on the stack class on Tuesday, last week? Who was it? Was it when are you here today? Yeah, there you are. Okay, so yeah. When were you the person who was working on the stack code last class? Oh, you typed in a yes. I don't know if the yes. Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, so so Wen is going to post the link, and so someone who hasn't been up on stage before, please grab the link and share the code. And I'll try to refresh my memory as to what we did. But while I look at the code, and you guys should also do the same thing. And then what I'm thinking of is that we'll take that code and turn that exact code from a stack into a list. Okay, and we'll try and play with lists today in class, and not lists implemented using arrays or things like that. We'll actually work with lists implemented using pointers, which basically is take our stack class and turn it into a list class by adding and subtracting methods. That's what we're going to do, and hopefully by the end of today's class, you'll find that it is all pretty straightforward and easy, right? Now, I want to take a poll, really an informal poll, okay? And you can respond in the chat window if you like. I know that this class has been challenging for a number of you, especially the ones that were, complete beginners when they entered the course, right? And under the false reassurance from the syllabus, really, that well, it's not false. Let me take that back. It's not false. It is a good and correct reassurance, okay? Under the reassurance in the syllabus saying that this course is for absolute beginners, right? And some of you found that maybe that's not the case, and maybe it's actually, a challenging course, not, it's only for people who already know the program. That's not true. All you need is just a little bit of time, during the early stages of this course, in the first few weeks, to basically dive into it. If you will have a hard time, if because of external circumstances that are beyond your control. Okay, so if the world or the universe or the event, if nature conspires against you, right? Conspire is a bad word to use, right? Projecting intent, my own self into nature as though it was a human being, right? But let's do it, right? So let's if something conspired against you and you had no control over it, and things went south in your life for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, right? Things go south in people's lives for years, right? I've had a period of years when everything went the worst possible way I can imagine, right? For a long time. So, had things going absolutely, hopelessly for a few months, um, because of things that you cannot help, is not something to blame yourself for. But unfortunately, a lot of people, especially in your age bracket, tend to do that, right? When things don't go the way they want, the first person they blame is usually themselves. They blame themselves first, and then as a consequence, they'll start blaming other people also, right? But they start by blaming themselves because they said, well, I wanted to do this, but I didn't do it. What the hell? And so I first, you should not blame yourself. But if it happened that you could not focus in the first few weeks, then I appreciate the fact that you know, you're getting close to being screwed at that point, because every course, not just CS2A, right? CS2A maybe makes it more poignant in your mind, but every course, right? If you miss out on the initial few minutes of a race, right, you're going to have a really hard time to catch up. Thank you, Augie. Okay, and so don't blame yourself. And so what can I offer you in return for suffering that? What I would say is that if you're stressed out at all now, because it's coming up to time for your exams, your final exam and all that, right? If you're stressed out at all, if you have managed to complete, right? You not start. You have complete, meaning get to the password. You don't have to ace it. If you have managed to get to the password of quest number 6, okay, the crow quest, you can take it for granted that you will pass this course. Okay, so meaning that I will make sure that if you've done a decent job in your midterm and final, you don't have to get the top score. Getting half the total points is fine, right? In the midterm and the final, and you've reached quest number 6 up to the password. I will, even if your total does not warrant it, I'll go ahead and turn that into a passing grade, meaning that it will be, I don't know, is it C plus an allowed grade in Foothill right now? I think they capped it at C, maybe. I don't know. I'll make sure, right? So let's say that you pass this course at that time. And so if you've completed quest number 6 to password, from that point onwards, you don't have to be stressed, because the only thing you're trying to achieve at that point is improve your score from, let's say, the B minus that you would have got to an A minus or A or something, right? So that's what you need to do. So take the rest of the time to do this class without stress. You're not beholden to anyone to do this. I'm not forcing you to do that. I'm not cracking my whip. Nobody is cracking their whip over you, I hope, right? So because this is supposed to be something that you have to take your time and enjoy, right? I often have students that enter my class. Hang on, Alexis has a question. I have to go to the chat window, Alexis, and it's hidden, right? So, all right. Do you mean that if we find the password to quest 6, if you find the password to quest 6, okay, you don't have to do quest 7, which gets challenging, okay? Because in quest 7, you have to implement an algorithm, not a data structure. Until quest 6, you're implementing data structures, which means you know what C++ is, right? At the end of quest 6, you are familiar with C++, which is the promise of CS2A, okay? From quest 7, you're implementing algorithms, okay, that use the data structure, that use the features of C++ to solve a real world problem, okay? So it doesn't mean that you have to ace those to get an A in, you have to ace those to get an A, to pass C++, to CS2A. Okay, so if you get to the password, you can rest assured that you pass the course. And then, and surprisingly, you will find, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, okay? In 2 weeks after you finish your final, tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Once you know that you're going to pass this course, and you're not stressed about it, and you take the exam, you will find that you probably got a much better grade than what you had expected. right? Which you would not have got if you were still fighting for passing the course, right? If you're doing everything desperate to pass the course, then you'll just pass the course maybe, or fail. I don't know, right? But if you think, well, I've passed the course and I'm getting a B, maybe I'll try and go for a B plus, okay? And if I don't get a B plus, I don't care, right? Because I know I've passed. I'm going to do it anyway. Then you actually find that, not because of any kindness that, a grader gives you, because you did it without stress, without the fact that it's bearing down on you, you actually get an A minus, not a B plus, right? Which you would have got a B plus if you were just going for the pass, or so you'll find that. And if that's not the case, let me know, right? Let me know, and because that'll be a useful data point for me. And so again, thank you all so much, and I hope you will, and at the end of the quarter, I want to see most of you again. Oh, also the most important thing that I wanted to say, now that a great deal of you are here in class now, those of you who already enrolled in my CS2B, okay, please go ahead and withdraw, right? Drop the course right now, drop my CS2B, and get out of the class. The reason I'm saying that is because I think it's full right now, and I don't know, maybe it's CS2A or CS2, one of those, right? Is full, and new students are not even trying to get in because even the waiting list is full, and they're going to some other class, which is a pity, because after about week 2 in CS2B, many students who didn't do my CS2A, who got in and enrolled, they will drop the class. They'll drop the class because they find it's really hard for them, right? They're out of their depth. And then, my class went all the way to full, and then now it's like half size or something like that. It's really a pity. So what I would do in that case is, please drop the class, right? My 2B, not this one, 2B. And then when it comes time, 1 week before class, the winter quarter opens, send me an email saying, hey, Anand, I did your CS2A and I want to do my CS2B, and I dropped it because you asked me to. Can you please give me an ad code? I will give you an ad code. So you can cite this YouTube video and say, hey, at 2 minutes and 70 seconds, you told me you'll give me an ad code, right? So I will definitely give you an ad code if you drop the course now and then try to re-enroll anytime in the winter quarter, right? I will definitely, because I know, right? So you've done this class. And that way we'll have more students doing 2B. The more the merrier, I always find. The more the merrier, because more people are chiming in, more people are contributing. You can bounce ideas off many people. More importantly, when you see many people struggling, right? It's important to not have many people that are all stars, rock stars. They know what they're doing. That's no good, really, right? I want to have many people in class who don't know what they're doing, who are struggling, because when we see many people struggling around us, then you get into the mindset of doing something without stress, without it bearing down on you, saying, oh my gosh, all of those people are up there, I'm here, I'm stressed out. Then you won't find the solution, right? So when you see other people are also struggling, also in the same boat as you, then you put in your best, saying, okay, well, everybody is doing the same thing. I'm also going to try and do this thing. I'll try and do something so that it'll make a difference for everyone, right? Then when you do things that will make a difference for a lot of people, you actually, have a greater motivation to do it and get it done, right? Rather than think about it, right? If you're doing something that is only going to help you, nobody else, right? And after it's helped you, that's it. You've forgotten. Everybody's forgotten. Nobody even knows that you've discovered something that solved your problem, right? Because it was your problem. You solved it and you moved ahead. Nobody knew. So then that thing that you discovered is in your own mind of less value than if you discovered something that many people can use. And then you say, wow, this is really cool. Lots of people can improve their lives with this. And so I'm really, really motivated to get to the bottom of it. Right? That is why I think that it is important to work on problems that lots of people are struggling on, right? If you work on a problem that's already been solved out there, well, you can still solve it for just your intellectual satisfaction, which is absolutely there, undeniably. But your motivation will be correspondingly attenuated, because in your heart of hearts that this is a solution that will only be useful for one person, and that's you. right? So try and see if let's try encourage other people, right, who are out of their depth but still have finished CS2A, right? Or they at least need to go in and do the blue quests over the Christmas break, right? Over the holidays, do the blue quests. Not you, right? Or your friends, anyone who wants to do my 2B, or you're going to recommend, right? You're going to recommend to them, do the 2B with me, right? And you tell them that do the blue quests over the break and then do 2B. And then with more people struggling, everybody will have a great time, right? Everybody struggles, everybody has a great time, right? And I think that's absolutely fantastic. This, as
I'm
I
sorry.
tell you, there is no, I don't know, this is just poetical, right? Not rhetorical. There's no greater struggle than a joint struggle, right? No better thing than a joint thing, right? So,
Excuse me, sir.
thing than a joint struggle, yeah. And because you have a feeling that you're all in it together. Okay, all right. So I think we're all here, and now it is time for us to start. Okay, so can Augie's got the screen and he's driving it. What we'll do now is in the next 30 minutes, I'd like for us to create a main driver, which the main driver is your client, which is going to use your stack class. And in the main driver, we are going to create a stack, right? Basically declare a stack, push a bunch of things on stack and pop them out and print them out, right? That's all we're going to do. So it's going to be like 10 or 15 lines just to make sure that everything works. And then we'll go from there. Now, Augie, although Augie is quite quick and, quick in typing and making these changes, um, I feel that um, he has on average more experience than many other students in class. It doesn't mean that I want Augie to give up the screen. No, no, hold on to it. But if possible, I would like someone who hasn't been on screen, who's still a little, shy or concerned, to call out the lines that Augie should be typing in. Okay, so can someone please switch off their mute and tell Augie what he should type, and then Augie will get into the mode of switching off his brain. Right now, you don't have to switch it off completely because you still have to listen and type, but switch off the part that thinks about what needs to type, right? So don't think about what needs to type. Don't do that. And although you can say things like, hey, new cell is underlined, what should I do to fix that, right? And things like that. You can ask questions like that, but don't go and fix it, right? I'd like someone else to say, do this. Okay, yeah. Transcription. Can someone please take me up on my request? And someone who's not, again, someone who is a little trepidatious, right? Someone who still has a little bit of concern about appearing on screen. You don't have to appear on screen. You can just stay hidden behind the curtain, right? Like the Wizard of Oz, there's the man behind the curtain. You can stay right there and say, okay, now fill the balloon with hot air. Okay. And I think you can say those things from behind the curtain, and Augie will make sure what you say is translated into action. Okay. All right. Can I have someone volunteer to guide Augie through what needs to be typed? There's only 10 or 15 lines here inside of main, okay? And I'll give you tips, and Augie also, and everybody else, right? Rizo, Daniel, Sumit, Adam. I see so many people in here, right? Everybody will be able to chime in and say what needs to be typed in, okay? And nobody's going to devour you, right? Nobody's going to pounce on you and kill you for doing the wrong things or saying the wrong things, right? You know this, right? You've been interacting with all of your classmates on the subreddit, and who is ever this entire quarter, I have been watching every single message that has come up on screen. CS2A,
Excuse me,
CS2B,
sir.
CS2C. Yeah, nobody has ever said anything unkind, right? In the sub, meaning that I haven't had to delete any unkind post. Everybody has always been understanding.
Excuse me.
Yeah, thank you. Who is this?
It's Adam.
Sorry.
It's Adam. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your name.
Oh, it's Adam.
Adam.
Yeah.
Okay, Adam. Yeah, take it. All right. So you can talk
Oh,
Augie through
I
what
actually
needs to get
kind of
done.
have
Augie,
a
tell him what
question.
needs to get done, and he'll talk you through it.
Before that, like, we should drop our CS2B, right? And then, like,
Hey, drop not
message you
now. Don't,
closer to
yeah,
around
drop it
like
later today.
Christmas or something.
Later today, not in class, right? Later today, just
Okay.
drop CS2B, and remember to ask me for an ad code after the quarter begins.
Oh, after the quarter begins?
Well, or maybe a couple of days before. That's fine.
All right. Well, I would love to instruct him, but I'm currently lying. Like, I have this disease. I don't think I'll be able to pull it out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that Adam? Adam, was it Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you say that again? I think I missed a bunch of what you said.
I'm kind of ill right now. I'm just laying in hospital, so it's hard for me to instruct. So I'll just listen to
Oh
someone
dear. Okay,
else.
I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, yeah. I
It's
hope
all
it
right.
all gets okay. Yeah, okay, and you go home soon. Um,
Thank you.
okay. Yeah. Okay. Someone else maybe. Someone if someone else wants to call out the code, please take it, guys. We actually have a pretty full class today, right? Most of you are here, more students today than I've had in previous weeks. In fact, pretty close to the, you know, so please someone take a class, to take the code, okay? If you've been up here once already, that's fine, okay? Just don't want it to be someone monopolizing at the cost of other students, okay? So someone, I see many people here who have been up on stage only once, okay? Well, yeah, okay. Let's do, if nobody takes it, if nobody, no one timer takes it, then we'll go for with the two timers and so on. Okay. So let's say first call, first um, offer refusal or something like that, whatever the legal term for it, right? First offer. Someone who's been up there once, take the screen. Okay. Going once, going twice, like that. Okay. So going once. Someone who's been there once, take the screen. I can't believe you guys are still shy, okay? And I am up here every single time. This is my 23rd lecture of this class, okay? I bet no other class you've been in has got 24 lectures in this quarter, okay? Every class, because, we have lucked out. We have lucked out that we haven't had any holidays whatsoever. I bet every other class might have been scheduled such that at least one lecture fell on a holiday, right? We haven't lost a single, yeah, we actually did lose Thanksgiving. Okay, it's 23. All right, so we'd have ended up with 23 classes at the end of this quarter. Okay, going twice, and final call, and then someone who's gone up there 3 times will be able to pick up the screen.
I can go.
Who is this?
Flavio.
Flavio, go. All right, awesome. Take the screen and go. Okay, so Augie will tell you what needs to get done, and you can just call out the code. Okay.
Is
And
the code in
the
chat?
rest of us will chime in if we notice a bug. Okay. Go ahead, Augie. Oh, Augie has a screen, but yeah, you have to tell Giorgio what we're trying to do. Just he knows what we're trying to do, but let's make sure that we're all on the same page. So you tell Augie, you tell Giorgio what we're trying to do, and then Giorgio will start calling out the lines of code. Basically, we want the main driver. We want to write a bunch of lines in main. And in our main, we want to instantiate the stack class and then push things into it, examine the top a few times, pop things out of it, and then basically look at the output and make sure it's doing what we expect it to do. That's all, right? This is very straightforward. This is a standard part of the testing thing, right? Standard.
We're just making a flexible stack with references and cells and junk in the middle. So it works.
Yeah. You can put anything you want in the stack.
And then we're going to test it.
Yeah. So the first thing you would do is inside of main, that's where your code is going to go, right? Inside your main, you're going to, you can get rid of the hello world and all. Yeah. here, you triple click on the line is easier, because when you do what you did, then you may miss out the new line at the end or the space in the beginning, and it's kind of messy. Triple click gets the whole damn thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there, the first thing you want to do is declare a stack, right? You want to declare a stack of integers, or in this case, it's just to declare a stack, right? Is declare a stack. My stack. Now, if any of this is unclear to any of you, you should all, pipe up, okay? Chime in here, because I know that some of you do complain, not so much here, maybe in some other classes, right? Do complain that, oh, nothing was clear, nothing was clear, nothing was clear. But the problem is when it was unclear, nobody asked, saying, well, that point is unclear. Explain more, right? Nobody said that. So we progressed. And then at the end of class, you can't say, right? So like I want to go to San Francisco, right? And I say, well, to go to San Francisco, you need to get on 101, and that is the route. And you say, no, I don't want to go via 101. I don't want to go north at all, right? I want to go north, but I still want to go to San Francisco, all right? There's only one way. You got to go all around the world, right? All around the world. So I think there's a joke, right? There's a guy in the middle of, who says, can you tell me how to get to the hospital from here? Right? And actually two versions of this joke, I think, right? So this guy says, how do I get to the hospital from here? And the other guy says, oh yeah, the hospital. There's two ways you can go there. You just keep walking straight ahead, and it's like 100 feet in front. Or turn around and walk straight ahead, and it's 21,300 feet right in front. Okay, so that's an answer. The other version of this joke that I heard was someone said, how do I get to the hospital from here? And they say, oh yeah, hospital is really easy. You just have to go there, and there, that's where the hospital is. And the other answer is, oh, it's really, really easy to get to the hospital. Just close your eyes and walk right into the middle of 101. You'll get to the hospital in no time at all. Okay, and all right. So anyway, enough with that. Yeah, so go ahead, and I see your, and when you're typing, also one of you, either Augie or Giorgio, just talk through your typing, right? So that the airwaves are not empty. So we have, things being spoken all the time. You can say, well, I'm trying to fix a bug, contents is a red line. Why is it? Because it is because, let me mouse over and find out. Or, Augie would say, hey, mouse over the red line, Giorgio, let's see what the error is. And then you would mouse over, we'll look at the error and say, okay, let's go and fix that. So just talk through the code so that people also get an idea. No, there's no turn here. We're all working together.
Yeah,
so
I know, it's just, I don't like interrupting people is all. It's just.
Oh, I see. Yeah. All right. Don't worry about it. Okay. Well, certainly you can interrupt me. I don't care. Anytime.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And I believe that I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Augie is also like that, right? I mean, he's just waiting for you to chime in.
This is Augie right now talking.
Yeah. Go ahead. Nobody. We don't think much about. I don't think much about people interrupting me.
All right. So what next?
I want to find out why it's underlined.
I think it's because it's trying to get a cell asterisk, but the contents is just a cell. Wait,
right.
No, it isn't. It's so that should be the same type as that.
If you mouse over the red ink, it'll tell you usually. Okay.
From incompatible type cell.
I think it's because get next cell isn't returning a pointer; it's just returning an object.
It should be returning the pointer though.
No, because you're dereferencing the next cell pointer. Yeah.
Is it like that? Is it that? I don't remember how to do it.
Yeah, and then you just want to delete the asterisk before next cell.
All right. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. So in your main, you can go ahead now and then create. You've got a stack. Then you can have a loop in which you push things.
Should work. So yeah, let's just make some code down here for what we need to do.
What's going on?
So I've got a loop now putting in different values into the stack just from 0 to 10. I guess I don't know.
How can you find out if it works or not?
I can check the contents on the top, I guess, and then pop it to see how that is. I can also just check like,
Is everybody following along, or is it just the three of us? It looks like it's just the three of us. Okay, Daniel is here. 4 of us. 5. Okay, Riza and me and Wen. Okay, all right, great. Okay, thank you so much. Oh, we have a pessimistic programmer. So yeah, I think I've found 2 streaks in programmers. Okay, I've found programmers who are pessimistic. I've found programmers who are optimistic. They both exactly they end up at the same result, right? It's just like the legal system in France and England, I guess. I don't know. Someone told me a long time ago. In England, the presumption before the case starts is that the person is innocent until proven guilty. And they told me, and I don't know if there's a French person here, they could correct me, because I never took the trouble to find out, is in France, it's the other way around. You are guilty until proven innocent, right? So the onus is on the other person. And then so when they told me that, I said, wow, that's really strange. So is everything upside down? The legal system is upside down in France? And they said, no, it's exactly the same thing. The decisions are reached in both places. It's just they look at the system from 2 different sides, so I thought it was a very interesting thing that very interesting thing that you could approach it like that. Okay, so if it's empty, so yeah, in programmers, the pessimistic ones always test for failure, and the optimistic ones always test for successes, right? So of course, you're doing both, but yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, all right, so run it. Okay, so it looks like you want to have a bunch of new lines, and then also, I think if you, it would be a good idea to have that if statement before you think of stuff things on the stack too, right? Before and after.
Yeah.
Just turn it into a ternary statement, right? So this is good practice for ternary. Does everybody know what I'm talking about when I say ternary operator? It'll be easier for you to cut and paste. Okay, don't move the block now. We'll change it into a ternary, and then you can move it. Okay. Does anybody know what I mean when I say turn that into a ternary operator? No.
I think so. I think
Okay.
I used this once, but I don't quite remember the syntax.
Okay. Well, I think Daniel knows the syntax because he used it in one of the Reddit posts. Daniel, are you here?
Yeah.
I can't even hear him.
Operator or the conditional operator.
I can hear him. Can you guys hear him?
Yes, he's quiet, but I can hear him.
Okay, well, if you can hear him, yeah, get him to talk you through the ternary operator part for turning that cout if statement into a ternary.
All right, so what do I do?
Okay, so the first step is to surround the condition in parentheses.
All right.
Then on the line that's evaluated when your case is true. No. Go back.
All right.
So move your mouse to line with the thing that you want for it to happen when it's true.
Mm-hmm.
True, and proceed and put a colon at the front of it. Or no, question mark, question mark. I'm sorry. I'm tired. And then on the other line, you put a colon before it. And then get rid of the semicolon.
Because it's all one line, I guess.
And if you want to, you can just have it as precede your condition with the C out, because
And then remove it from both of them.
yeah, just pipe in from the ternary. I've seen this. You might want to also surround the entire ternary.
Yeah, the whole ternary with parentheses.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll output this value here, and then the ternary will break.
I think you got an extra parentheses on, yeah, that one.
No, that's for this. That's pairs with this one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
No, this. So
that
that's for the Boolean.
Because of operator precedence.
This one is for the whole operation. So what it returns, which is the string.
Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and
yeah.
then these two are just the
function.
function.
Operator takes precedence.
Right. What I mean is that you'll find that you don't need that extra set of parentheses on the first, but that's fine. This is correct. It'll work.
I think we do though, is the thing. It was
all right, let's try
giving
it,
us a bunch of errors.
Let's try it and then we'll try it without.
Yeah, because
so
the ternary operator is actually a lower precedence than C out.
So it'll probably return true or false here.
Hang on. So
yeah, 0. It just returns the.
Why is there yeah, see, it's returning 0. It shouldn't be returning 0, right?
Yeah.
So if you take out the if you take out that one, on line 53, take out the trailing, not just a trailing one,
That they're paired to this one.
Yeah, I know. Like, we can pair it. I just want to, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So question mark. It didn't work.
I'd have to take out this one too.
Yes, that's right. You have to take out that one. Yes. Now it should work.
Yes.
And you can put them all on the same line. So there's only one line, and you need a new line at the end too, right? So put them all on the same line, do a new line. That'll make it a whole lot easier for you to copy and paste into multiple locations. Right. And at the end, after the parentheses, stick in a new line also.
So, like,
yeah,
what?
Less than. After the parentheses.
Oh, yeah, new line.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Now you can copy this entire line and put it on, triple click.
Oops.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Stack is empty.
I'm putting a question mark there because it shouldn't happen. For this, the stack should be instantiated as empty.
Yes, the stack should be instantiated as an empty stack.
So I'm putting a question mark if it isn't empty here to signify that.
Oh yeah, I don't think so.
Normal.
Yeah. It should be, but it should be. Oh, I see. You're putting a question mark there, saying, "Oh, there must be an issue there. There's a problem." I see. You want to hint to the user?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, who is that? Hey, Daniel, your microphone is like totally screwed up, I think.
It's very quiet.
Too far.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
A little better.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is this any better?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have a question. A question is why aren't we using assert here?
Oh, sorry. Using
Why aren't we
assert?
using like the CAssert library and assertions?
You mean assert?
Assert, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's not go down that road for now, because assert is usually used for making sure that certain conditions are met before you do some critical task. And I think it's just added detail that may detract us from what we're trying to do here. Those things you can add on as you get more and more expertise in programming. You can add on these things, bells and whistles and extra things. Okay. So now take this program to the next level. Push more items and pop and use pop and then yeah.
We do have an issue though. The stack isn't returning empty when it's created.
What?
So when it's created, it isn't empty. It's not returning empty.
Oh, I see.
This
That's
is
funny. That's
possibly
funny.
because contents is being set to something other than null when it's instantiated.
Why is it? Yeah. I think maybe the default initialization should be null. So in the constructor, so you need an explicit constructor. All right. So create. No, you can't do that. Unfortunately, in C++, it doesn't let you do that. You can do that in Java and other languages. So you got to create a constructor. Create a constructor and explicitly set the value of contents to null. Just do it in line. It's already public. You got a tag.
Yeah, I know. I'm just separating it.
Oh,
I guess I can just use a comment. That'll be easier.
Yeah, that's fine. But people can usually tell if it's a constructor.
Yeah, but still. Oh. Spaced.
You just do it in line.
Way.
Yeah, just do it in line.
Okay.
And I believe you also need a constructor for cell now that you've got
yeah.
But finish this first. You need to say contents equals null. Can you do that? Yeah, okay. Contents equals null. Can we get away without having to do a cell constructor? We don't need a cell constructor, do we?
Yeah, I think the default constructor should be fine.
Yeah, okay. So that's fine. Yay!
So it's empty.
It was empty. Now go ahead, push a bunch of stuff on. You're already pushing it. Now look at the, pop things off the stack and make sure you're getting it in the reverse order, right? So you pushed 1 to 10 on stack. When you pop things out, you should get 10 to 1.
So I can do probably a while loop here or whatever.
Yeah. Knock yourself out. You can do it however you want.
I mean, is there a while loop equivalent? What would that be?
Yeah. While not empty.
That not should be an exclamation point.
Oh, yes.
Also, as a general rule, while loops
Put it in parentheses. What? As a general
Daniel, you
rule,
said something as a general rule or
General
something.
rule, while loops require parentheses, but then he solved it himself.
yes. If statements, Boolean stuff requires parentheses around it when you're doing stuff like for and if and while. Yeah.
New line, right?
Oh, yeah. It's always good practice to do that.
That's funny. Why do you get that underline? Is it just a replete bug?
I think that might be a replit bug.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
there you
but
go.
there is another bug. We're getting all zeros. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting all zeros.
Okay, so that's fantastic, right? Because now we have something to debug, right? So
Mhm.
that means that pushing is not doing what it's supposed to do.
Probably,
Yeah. Okay. So
since
what is it? What is it that it's not doing?
set next cell contents.
Hmm? No,
I think
no.
the value val is not being used in push.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We're not
parameter-
actually, so set next cell isn't properly doing it
Mhm.
because
No. Yeah, I see. Set next cell.
it
No.
should be
Set next
set,
cell is
it should be
that's doing
set
it.
payload.
That's correct,
It should
isn't
be
it?
set payload.
But contents is not the payload.
Oh yeah, contents. Well, we need new cell to have its payload set
Mhm.
to val, and then set the
Mhm,
thing's
mhm.
contents.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Because we're not setting it.
Flavio? Where's Flavio? Anyway, whoever was talking you through this, they just disappeared.
Oh, I was
Oh, that
talking
was
myself.
Sumit.
Oh, but someone
Okay.
else. Okay, I think it should work now. We just
Mhm.
forgot to actually set the value into the cells.
Yay! Yeah, that's great. And you can also, at this point, what people will do is also create a cell constructor. And if you have a cell constructor, you don't need to invoke the two setters in the cell constructor itself. When you say new cell, you can pass it the value of
Yeah.
val. Yeah.
Probably.
No,
Well,
non-default. You say you want a non-default constructor because a
Yeah,
default
mhm.
constructor is what you already have. So you want a non-default constructor. Needs to have CS2A. Yeah. I think that's it, because if it's a new cell, next is going to be null by default, right? If it's a brand
yeah,
new
yeah, yeah.
cell. Yeah. Okay. So in here, you can basically, I can show you another way of initializing members in here. Right after the size t val closing parentheses, right? Is it put in a colon there? Colon. Yeah. Colon. No, not there. After the parentheses. Yeah, space, colon. Okay, colon. And then you just say payload. No, they're right there after the colon. Yeah, payload. And then in parentheses, val. It's almost like you're calling a function called payload and passing it the parameter val. Okay, and then open empty curly braces.
All right.
That's it. That's your non-default constructor. And what that does is essentially take the value val and call the constructor for payload, passing it the value val. But payload is a primitive type, right? But I think we talked about this before. C++ gives you the feature where you can have constructor-like syntax for initializing primitive types too, right? So you're basically saying the payload is an object of type size t. Call the constructor for size t and give it the value val. That's essentially what that statement is saying.
So
right?
what is this colon and then the function doing?
What that does is that it is going to take val and initialize payload.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying in general, because like, I don't know, is this just a specific thing you can only do with constructors with
Yes,
primitive
yes.
types?
Colon
Yes.
syntax is
There's a very slim chance I might be mistaken, that you could do that for any function, but typically it is only for constructors where you want to
Mhm.
initialize a value. If you want to initialize a value, then you can just initialize it right there on the
So the-
declaration line by,
So the colon is basically saying, here's a basic constructor that we're going to use instead to initialize a value.
the colon is not saying this is a constructor. The colon is basically saying that now what's on the right of this colon, right side of this colon is a bunch of initializations, right? It's
Mhm.
called an initialization list. So you can have any number of initializations there where,
All right.
yeah, so that's an initialization. And
sure that
it does
actually-
not mean that it is a constructor. That's what I meant before when I said I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's possible to do that for other functions where you need to initialize values and things. I don't know.
I think that
if
might
the-
be the only way to initialize a const. An empty const.
Well, you know, const can be initialized out of line.
Yeah, but if you're initializing it inline,
Inline, yes. Yes,
I
you're
think-
right. Yes.
because it'll construct a new thing with that value. So if you did like a constant in the here, would that work?
I'm
No, yeah,
sorry,
that
what?
would work. Never mind.
Oh, I see. You're saying inside of your
Yeah, you
curly
could
braces.
put like const int in the some number.
Good, type it in so it's clearer.
You could do like const int blah in here, and that would still.
I mean, like, if you
Not
have like
in.
an empty const at the top of the class, I am pretty sure that you can initialize that using the initializer syntax.
Wait. Yeah, I think we're talking about two different things here.
Oh, yeah,
Augie's
yeah.
question is, what happens in this particular case? In this case, yeah, it's a function. You still have your function. You can still have your function. It can do anything you want right there. Within the curly braces, it can do anything you want the function to do, right? Just like a regular constructor. What the part of the after the colon only says that before you start executing the body of this function, do the initialization.
I'm pretty sure you
So
No.
it says
Initializer-
before, before you get to line 12, do line 11, which is a bunch of initializations. That's what it says.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that right there works in only in initializer lists, like the 3.
So how would I add another one? Would I
Comma.
put another colon or a
Comma and-
comma?
Oh, I see what you mean. I think I understand what you're saying, Augie. Suppose you wanted to initialize also next cell. Is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Yeah? Yes.
Yeah.
So in that case, just do a comma there. Yeah.
All right.
Next cell. And do it. Next cell.
Well, I'm testing with a constant here to see what happens.
But
So
a
you can't
constant block.
initialize-
I see. Yeah. Okay.
Initialize a constant using the initializer list. So
you
put,
can't like define a constant on a instance by instance basis.
yeah, so like type blah into the initializer list and give it a value.
Like that
now
syntactically
blah's-
makes sense.
Compile it.
And in fact, I'll make this blah public so we can access it without having to do whatever.
Why? I don't think that should make a difference. But you know.
Um,
You accept a parameter called or to initialize blah with, you can do that.
new cell. I have to
Yeah, give it 10.
Put
Give
a
it
value.
20, whatever. Give it some number.
val because that's
Yeah.
what we should do.
Oh yeah. Okay, wow.
Oop.
Yeah, that line can also go. Oh yeah, next cell contents. Okay. All right, cool.
Now it should work. All right, and I just want to.
And in fact, you can where is that constant initialization? Where you have
It
that.
never actually prints the
In
constant.
here, so
Yeah. Now
We're
take that and put it
setting it to
inside. No,
4.
but take that and put it inside the curly braces and see what happens, right? So inside the curly braces, say blah equals.
yeah. I put it in inside before
It won't compile because you can't
blah
assign it.
equals some number. it doesn't work because it's a constant.
Yeah.
However, it does work when you use an initializer list. Even
So
if you-
that's a useful tool if you want to have constants that like when it's created. So like, I don't know, if you are minting coins, you don't want someone to be able to change the date on the coin or whatever. But like, you want to be able to have that set per coin.
Yes, yes, you should do it in the constructor.
So that's actually really useful.
Yes.
And a good thing to know.
Yeah, and like if you pass in a parameter with a and/or for it, you can do the same thing that you do with payload. So like, if you have like a second size t in the constructor, you can initialize a constant to a value you put in,
Mhm.
and then you can't change it in that object again.
What
All right,
Daniel's
so
saying is that if you had another parameter after size t val, if you had another parameter size t k, then you
Mhm.
can say block a.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
do, yeah, right. So if you want to just say size tk, and you can say block a. So just like anything else, it's just initialization.
So let's just bring this down here.
Mhm.
Val, and then val divided by 2,
Mhm.
say.
Except you'll never find out what happened, right? Because you're not printing it.
Yeah. That's why it's public right now. So I think,
Yeah, if it's public, you can print out there. Yeah.
yeah.
When you pop it off, oh, I see.
Pop
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah. You don't have
return
a
the
way
value.
to. You don't have a way to access the individual cells in main.
Yeah.
So
I could just instantiate a cell, but
yeah, you can do that. You can instantiate a cell and print it out.
hmm.
Oh no, it's a non-default constructor. You got to give it
Oh yeah.
two parameters.
Also,
No,
that
no, not new. You
puts it
don't
on
want
the
a pointer.
sheet.
You can just initialize it right there. Const holder, open parentheses,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and then 2 and 4 or something like that. Yeah. Now you can see out, yeah.
It's a const still,
Yeah. So you can't even
You can
change
change
it
it,
there.
but you can print it.
but you can print it.
End line, end line.
Numbers will be attached to each other because there's no space between them.
Oh, thank you. So we should get 3, 5, or yeah, 5, 3. Because I flipped the order there. But yeah, it's cool. You can set constants in the
List.
thing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
All right, I'm gonna remove that because that's not really important or necessary. It's just test code, but
Yeah, it's just good to know
that'll,
that constants can be initialized. Just you
Yeah.
need to use an initializer list.
Mhm.
Also, another thing to know is that all constructors must provide some value for every constant that is not initialized.
So you can fix the constructor for Sal. And get rid of the K.
Got rid of everything else. But
And then you
Yeah.
can address the issue that Daniel just mentioned is if you want later on, you can give it a default val parameter so that if people will still be able to call the default cell constructor without giving a parameter, and it'll just say val equals 0. So you can say right there on the same, on the same line of the constructors, right? Size t val equals 0, right? Put equals 0 right there. That means that constructor now doubles as both your default and non-default constructor.
so down here, the old code where we had set it afterwards would still work.
It'll still work, yeah. And if you take out
Yeah.
the val, everything will be 0 as you
Mhm.
expect, because it'll use the default constructor. And the default constructor will basically say everything is 0, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, default constructor is not called like that.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so does that make sense? It's kind of cool, isn't it? So in less than 100 lines, in fact, it's less than 50 lines, right? In less than 50 lines, we have implemented the complete stack class with essentially the core functionality that you need, right? So this is basically what you need from a stack. And obviously there are, fringe functionalities for every data structure, even stacks, that are not part of the core distribution.
Actually,
Yeah.
something we could do, since we're never actually modifying what's in cell, we could make payload a constant. And that would work, I think.
Yeah, totally. You could make that a constant too. Try that, yeah.
And we don't need to set
That's a very
payload.
nice observation there. Yeah.
And it should work
Oh,
fine.
you're never calling set payload anywhere?
No, because we're only setting it when we're
Oh,
making
I
it.
see, in the constructor. Yeah, cool. That's
We're
really
never
cool.
changing it afterwards.
That's cool.
So it works fine.
Yeah.
And that also gives an example of what we're doing that works within the code.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's really nice. It's really nice. And I'm like super duper pleased. This is really where all computer science instructors, right, want their students to be, is not really, take some code and execute it. And you really learn very little doing that. Where you really learn computer science is when you do what you just did, which is just play around, right? Get some code, maybe 50 lines or 10 lines, 50 lines. And then for the next hour or so, I'm just going to play around, right? I'm going to change things here. I'm going to do these tweaks and look at the effect, right? Look at the effect, change effect. By looking at that for a whole hour, even though it's just 50 lines of code, you learn a whole lot more than sitting down for 10 hours and writing, a 100,000 line program, right? So I think this is far more instructive and really where, all computer science instructors are pushing you towards, right? In all of your courses, when you're learning computer science, this is what they want you to do, right?
It's
Not go and implement the.
I think that applies in general when you're learning things too. It's much more engaging when you're actually able to experiment with the thing and have sort of a cause and effect and see what happens.
Yes.
As opposed to just making stuff or receiving stuff and trying to remember it. Exactly. Without having that sort of interplay between the two.
Yes. Who was that, by the way? Was that Giorgio or Adam or Daniel? I couldn't tell. It
was Augie.
Augie. Sorry. Yes, absolutely. Yes, you're right. This is just in learning itself. That's why Nike is so cool, because they say just do it. Okay, don't think about it. Don't try to do it. Like Yoda, right? What does Yoda say? There is no try, do is only possible. You want to do something, right? He says in a characteristic Yoda way, but no, you don't try, you do. And that's the best way to learn.
We've got another half an hour about, at least.
Yeah, we're going to use that half hour to take this program and turn it into a list, right? Rather than, so this particular thing that you wrote, builds a linked structure. Okay, it's a linked structure, isn't it? Every node is connected to the next node via a node pointer, but it enforces It enforces visibility constraints, saying, well, I got a list, but I'm not going to let you look at the whole list. I'll only let you look at this one element at the end. And that's where you can do everything you want, right? You can take this off and put a new one on. You can take out as many as you want. You can put new ones on, and so on and so forth. But you can't go and reach in, okay? You can't reach in and pick out the eighth thing that I pushed in the stack. No, you can't do that, right? But a list basically says, okay, well, there are situations in programming where you need to have that ability. Right? Not everywhere, but sometimes you need to have that ability. And so that is a linked list. A linked list is exactly the same as your stack that you've built today, right? Except that it gives you a few more methods. And in the process, we're going to change the names of these methods too, right? So we're going to change the names and say, and we'll keep it easy and slightly, different from what you're going to do in quest number 9. Okay. So in a linked list, you're going to say, here's an element, push it at the top, the head of the list, which in which case it'll be the same as what you've done now, right? It's the same as your push in a stack. Take it and push it here, or you could say push it at the end. It goes, put it on the tail of the list, so you go there. Or you can even say things like, I got an item and you got a list, but I don't want to put it here or there, but put it after the 3rd item or after the 7th item, and things like that. Or I might say, you got a list. Tell me how many items you got in the list, right? Give me the length of the list. All those interesting things we can try and implement right now. Okay, so it's going to be simply straightforward and easy. And as usual, we'll do it in a step-by-step way by doing bottom up. Okay, we'll do the main method last. Okay, so what we can do is rather than conflate multiple code bodies, Command A and copy the whole thing, create a brand new one, call it list.cpp or something.
In the same thing or just a new whole thing?
Yeah, do a new whole thing, right? We leave it there because you may share this URL and people may click on it and look at the stack code.
It's loading. There we go.
Okay, all right. Now go ahead and change. The cell is okay. So change the name of push and pop, right? Those are the methods that we want to change. Let's say push. Well, I think I think change push to push front, right? Because we want to say push front is going to take the value and put it at the head of the list, right? And then pop should be let's see. All right, get rid of pop now because we'll do a different method, right? Different named method, which is going to do something slightly different. Now I want to see if we can insert a couple more methods before we go ahead and implement them. Let's say in pushing things, we'll push at the beginning of the list. But you always want to know what the beginning of the list is, right? Because in the case of a stack, contents always points to the first item. And listen, that's fine. Okay, now let's write a method to get the length of the list. Okay, so say size t get length. Okay, and this method is going to be a const method because it's not going to change the list. It's just going to measure things and return a value, right? It's not going to change. So tag the method as a const method.
Here, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Okay, now getting the length of the list is not like a one-line trivial thing, right? It's one line, but it's not trivial. You need to iterate through the list and find the length, right? So inside of the body, let's say int length equals 0, and then in a for loop, you're going to keep going and stepping through the list until you get to null. And when you get to null, you've covered all the nodes. You can return the length, right? So no, you got to do it on multiple lines because it's not going to be a one-liner. Yeah, you can say int len equals 0, and then while, and then you also need, I guess, a pointer to the thing. Oh no, while not is empty, I guess. No, you can empty the list. You just need to, because it's right. So you need to say, you get a pointer to the first element, and then you're going to go through the list, right? So you're going to say,
You're going to do a while because we
cell
don't
star
know
P.
how long.
Yeah. So you can say cells. You want to do that? I see. How would you
Because
do that?
I mean, how would you do it in a for loop?
Okay, so say cell star P. No. You're declaring. Oh yeah, you can do that. You can do that. Okay, so cell star P, capital C, capital C.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cell star P equals contents, right? And then the test should be P is not equal to null, right? Null. And then after you've taken care of a node, what do you do next? P equals.
You
P
equals P dot get next cell. Actually, it would be arrow.
Yeah. Go ahead, fix it.
There's a semicolon.
Yeah, get rid of it. Okay, next line, you would say plus len. You don't even need the braces. I mean, unless you want to have them, but you don't even need the braces because it's just one line, right? Now you can return len at the end.
I'm going to put in braces here.
Okay, no, so after having written this method, we want to test it, right? So in your main, go ahead, create a list, and then push like 7 items on the list, and then make sure that the list, it actually says it's got 7 items in it.
Actually, there's one thing I think that we should change on push.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we make it return a reference to this so you can chain them?
Right. Yeah. Well, let's do that later. Thank you for that observation, Daniel. Right. So we'll
pointer or stack reference.
It's yeah. But don't. Yeah. Let's not go down that road now. But it's a good point. We can take that later. All right. So yeah. And by the way, it's not my stack, right? You're creating a list. You can change the name of the class, right? It should be linked list or something, or say capital list.
I guess that should be capital.
Enter. Why didn't it change it? I think we had this problem once before too. Yeah. Oh, I see.
Whoa, that's a lot of cursors.
It's nice. It's actually nice, the interface for doing this. Okay, linked list. All right. So
I'm just going to shorten that so it's easier to type.
Mm-hmm.
And make this proper casing. Oh. Right arrow key is sticky.
Okay, so it does. That looks like it should work, right?
Yeah. We haven't actually implemented. Oh, that's.
Oh, you got an infinite loop. You got an infinite loop. Kill it.
Yeah. Why is that happening?
Because your list is never empty, right?
Oh,
So
yeah,
you can't
yeah, yeah.
check. You can't check for is empty.
Let's remove that.
Oh, no. That's correct. That's correct. You should put it there. But then, oh, we don't have a pop method. I see. That's why.
Yeah, we removed the pop
okay.
method.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
Oop.
You can get rid of that for now. Push front, and what you want to do is after pushing front, you just need to print the length of the list to make sure that you have the right number of elements.
So let's do that after checking if it worked.
Yeah, triple click on that line, triple click on 59 and paste it. I think that's the easiest. Triple click. 3. Yeah, okay. Now we can paste it. All right. Length equals. Yeah.
Oh, whoop. There we go.
Right. Yay. So that worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now let's write another function that would insert in the third position, right? So in the third position. So I don't know, it's the nth position, right? Nth position. So insert at nth position. So I think, yeah, void insert at position n or something.
How about just void insert and then we give it an n?
Yeah, okay.
Position.
Yeah, I think so. That's fine. Insert. No, val first and then the position. Oh, up to you. So you can say.
Yeah, val should go first. And
size t. Yeah.
We don't have negative positions, right? So
no negative positions, exactly.
This can be, and I'm gonna have it be defaulted to 0.
Fantastic. So you're thinking just like a programmer, right? This is the way you would typically be coding in real life. Okay.
I am coding in real life.
You are,
but it's within it is within a learning environment, so it's a little
right. Okay.
All right. So we're going to need. Let's just copy this code from before that's similar and then adjust it. Because we need the new cell, and then we're going to have the new cell's position be set to the contents, but actually we want it to be the third thing. So we're going to need to find. We're going to need to find the index, the pointer.
Yeah, I know. But let's try and keep it simpler here. Rather than have another method, just do the for loop right here.
Yeah, I know. I'm just checking. We need a variable here, so we need.
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. That's what.
Cell.
Sorry.
Asterisk. Position.
You're already using that name.
Yeah. I'm gonna change this to pause just because that's easier to write.
You call it cursor. Call it cursor.
Pointer. I don't think cursor quite works because it's not like it's going to iterate over it. It's just like locating it once.
Are you sure?
Right?
I thought we were going to start at the beginning and then move it forward until.
Yeah, I know, but we're not like, it's not like a Turing machine. We're not going to interact with it at each point. We're just going to point to it, right?
Go ahead and do it.
We're iterating to find this pointer at the location.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, do it.
All right. We're going to do a while loop because I don't want to have to make a new variable or whatever. And we're going to do close is greater than 0.
Mhm.
And I'll set pointer to contents for starters, right? Because that's the
Nice,
first
nice.
one.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, yeah, okay. Go ahead.
And then we can decrement as we iterate along until it gets to 0.
Mhm.
So pointer equals pointer arrow get next cell. Oh, semicolon, and then close minus minus. We should also put a check in here if it's null. So if we have something that goes outside of the list, it's going to be like, hey, wait a minute,
Absolutely.
and return that's like an error or something, right?
Right. I think you want that to go before pointer equals, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it matters because we're checking, because this is iterating through from the beginning of the list. It'll like, no matter what, it'll meet up with the end.
What if contents is null? What if it's an empty list?
It'll just skip over the while, right? Because
Why?
pause is already
Why would it?
0.
No, if I gave you an empty list
Oh,
and
yeah,
asked you to insert something in position 5.
Yeah, I know. It starts at so it starts at the first cell, which is null. So I guess, yeah, we should check at the beginning before. No, we're checking. No, yeah. We should check right here. You're right. If pointer is null, return. Yeah.
Right.
Should I maybe
Yes.
do a Boolean for the insert instead of
Exactly. Who said that? Who said can we use a Boolean?
I did.
Oh no, yeah. So was it Giorgio or Flavio or
Augie. I've
Augie?
basically been the only one
Yeah.
talking.
For some reason, I keep thinking that yeah, Augie. Thank you. I can't recognize your voice.
If other people would like to chime in, I'd be much obliged.
Yeah. Augie's this is a request from Augie, guys, and a request from me, right? You should all just not be sitting in your seats or dozing off watching the performance. You should all be out there trying to dance. This is a chance for you to dance.
Participation helps you learn.
Yeah.
And also it'd make it easier for me to program stuff.
Yeah. And right now I'm the only one who's helping Augie. Right? Flavio came in and helped him like, a little bit, and then he just took off. Daniel helped.
So
Nobody else.
New cell with the value. Yeah, that's what we want there. And then new cell sets out contents. I'm gonna return true at the end. So next cell should be pointer and then contents. Oh, but we need the thing for the previous one, right? One right before that, or something. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah, no, that's
Could use some help.
fine. So what you need to do is stop one before, right? Not stop at. Yeah.
Let's then. So this would be, is it less than 1 minus, or how would I do that?
So you're decrementing pointer, You want to
Yeah.
stop just before it completely runs out. Yeah.
Yes.
So rather than you want to keep going as long as it is greater than 1, not greater than 0.
Okay.
Also, are you using pause at any point inside the loop?
Yeah, we're decrementing it and
I mean,
checking.
outside of decrementing it.
Well, we're basically counting down from the number.
Because you can
To
use
the-
pause minus minus is inside the loop and save yourself a line.
Yeah, it's in the loop.
I mean, like, as in, do pause minus minus is greater than 1.
Daniel is saying you can basically
Oh,
put
yeah,
the
yeah.
minus up there. Yeah, but you're right, but you don't have to, because if someone else is following along, that's an added thing they have to absorb in order to understand this
I think-
concept, which is
yeah.
unrelated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So
I don't think it's
now
gonna
that
make much of a
you're
difference when it's compiled.
now that you've got got to the place, you can insert the new cell.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you created a new cell there. By the way, you're returning false there. Okay, good. And new cell, a new cell arrow set next cell to pointer. Where okay, and contents equals. You can't say contents equals new cell now,
Yeah.
right?
We need to set the other thing to be the one before it. So we need two
Right,
of
so-
them, right? Because we're splitting
Yeah.
it.
I mean, there's a few things you need to make there, a change there, right? So, and then if you draw it out on paper, you'll know exactly what you need to change, because if you visualize it, that's the list. Yeah, that's the list, and you are here. Okay, and you paused one element before where you need to insert it, right? So you are here, and this is
Yeah.
pointing somewhere, and here is where you need to insert something. So you need a pointer to this object. Do you have a pointer to this object here?
I don't think so. I mean,
No,
we
you
technically
do.
pass
Pointer
over it.
equals. That's your line 46.
Yeah, we have
Right,
it here.
If so, yeah, when it breaks out of that loop, when you finish that loop, right, pointer
Mhm.
will be pointing to the correct cell in front of which the new element should be inserted.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So new cell. So where it's pointing should be pointer dot get next cell,
Yeah.
or pointer arrow get next cell, because it's a pointer. Thusly, and then pointer dot set next cell to new cell. Oh, and also arrow here. There we go.
All right.
And maybe that should work. I
And
don't see
your main, you need to change your main, right? To
Yeah.
make sure you.
We do want to have an output thing though, because
Mhm.
right now we don't. We only have
Yes.
top. So maybe
Why
we
don't you write another method, another utility method for write another utility method for your list. Say toString, right? Write a toString method for your list. Const, right? That's also a const. It doesn't change the list, so const.
And we can use this, but then
right. So
print
create
out.
the easiest way to do this is create an output string stream, ostring stream, and then stuff things into your ostring stream, and then when you're
I
done,
don't think we have string though.
yeah, go ahead, do include those, and so when you know what to do. Yeah.
Stria. Is that right?
Yeah.
So And then this is fine. And instead of incrementing length, we can put out P dot or P arrow get payload. Arrow. Space.
Nice.
Return. Well, string, was it? How do you do this?
str. There's something really funky about replete indentation. I think it happened once before.
Yeah, I don't know. The indentation, you can customize it or something.
Don't
Like,
worry, you can just fix it by hand here. So.
Yeah. It's only one space there. Or it should be two.
No,
I think that's right.
Yeah, you need to line up against the 4. That closing brace on 67 should be lined up against the 4.
All right,
and the return should be right under that. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
And how many did you insert in the list?
We're doing 11 in the list.
Okay, all right. We should see all those numbers when you print it out.
Yeah.
Yay!
5.3210.
Is this the right order? Did we push it in the right order? Oh, you're always doing push front. Okay, all right, cool. You did push. Yeah, okay, cool. So this is really cool. It's actually fantastic, really, because in under 100 lines, we implemented well, it's not a complete linked list, but the core functionality of the list, including 2 of the lines that are the hardest for many beginners to grasp, which is inserting, right? Because if you look at the insert line,
the insertion yet.
Insertion, yeah, it does look confusing, right? Because you're A to B and then B to A again. What the hell is going on? So and so that is something that we can noodle on in our heads for a long time and then understand exactly what's going on. Does this make sense to everybody? Yeah, insert and then do it again. Thank you. That's These are exactly the kinds of things we would be doing, right? As coders, every time you implement that one small method, you're going to say, okay, well, let me try it out. Let me try it out. Let me try it out, and test it out. If you test it out, if you test out the little methods as you write, then it'll be a whole lot easier to debug your bigger program. Right? If your big program has 10 lines, Nee says it's still a little confusing to me. Is it possible to? Yeah, okay. All right. I'm happy to do that. And we have time. Right. Now, would you like, Augie, can you talk Nee through this code after you've got that going? And then if Nee is still confused, one of the others of us can chime in and take a stab at explaining it. Either Augie or someone else, right? Is anybody else happy to explain Augie's code, or can Augie do it? Okay, Augie, it's yours. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Explain the code to me.
So we've got a linked list with a bunch of cells in it, and each cell here it's got its payload, which is just the data inside of it, and it's also got a pointer to the next cell in the list. So it's basically just there, and it's pointing an arrow, and it's got a number on it. And we're able to, when we instantiate it, we give it a value, and then we can give it a next cell, and see what the next cell is and see what it is. We don't need this function. That's not even ever used. So it's basically just a thing that has a value and points to another thing. Or can. This next cell could be null. So the linked list, private, we've got here the first cell in the list, which then points to the whole of all the other cells in the list in a chain, or should anyways, unless something else messes with it. But probably in our limited scope, that's not going to happen. We've got something to make the linked list. It starts with nothing in it. And then we have a method to test if the first pointer there in the linked list is empty or not. You can chime up if you have any specific questions or need to clarify things, or if I'm going over stuff that you already understand or whatever. All right, so this is a method we were using from the stack that's just carried over here that just returns.
Oh, we're not
Whether-
using top at all.
Yeah, we don't ever use it.
Yeah, get rid of
We
it.
can remove it because we actually don't have a current way to get a single value from the cells right now, but it's fine. We can add that.
That's the right attitude.
Maybe we just overload the bracket operator, or not the bracket. You know, what I mean, like the square bracket operator.
Hey, Daniel, let's not go down that road, okay? So those are all irrelevant to what we're trying to do here. I mean, there's all added features, but you can add bells and whistles anytime, right? So this is our main mission, is how the list works.
So we've got a method that just puts a new variable at the front and sets its cell pointer to contents. So it basically stacks one and we step back. So now contents is that new cell with the value, and then that cell's pointing to whatever the previous contents was. So we're adding a new arrow pointing at the rest of the list, and then we have the list point to that new arrow that we made. And then insert here basically does the same thing, but we're sticking it in the middle. So we have to rewrite where one of the middle arrows is pointing, and then also stick the new arrow there and then point it back to the other arrow so the chain continues. And then we're iterating through here. So we've got the contents. So we start at the beginning and then we walk through from the beginning down to whatever position we're at, counting down until it gets to 1 or 1 before wherever our position would be. And we're breaking if it reaches the end. And we're basically just seeing where all the arrows go and following their path. And then here we're creating that new cell, and then we're and giving it a value. And then we're setting where it's pointing to be where the old cell was pointing. And then we're setting where the old cell was pointing to be the new cell. So we're basically rerouting it to a new value in between there. The length, we do the same sort of thing as we do up here, where we start at the beginning and then count up until we get to a cell that doesn't point anywhere. And we just count up for every cell that we get. So we're starting at the beginning with the pointer here, and we're checking to make sure it's not null. So once it is null, the loop breaks. And then after each iteration of the loop, where we just increment length by 1, we set P to be the next cell pointer in the list. So it goes from the first one to the next one, and then it sees where that next one is pointing and sets that to the next one, etc. And then we're doing the same sort of thing here, except instead of counting up length, we're appending whatever was in that cell onto the output string stream. Are we good so far? Do you need any more explanation or clarification on anything?
I can also, Nee, if you want, I can also dive into a specific part of the code and explain it more. So Augie's given an overview of the whole thing, but if let me know if you'd like me to start at a particular place and explain something. I mean, it can continue on to talk about the rest of it too, but if there's a particular starting place that is confusing to you, let me know and I will explain that, give you another perspective than
All right.
I gave you.
And finally, we've got the actual main function. So we've got the list we're working with called myList. And then we're just doing a bunch of diagnostic things. We're checking if it's empty to begin with, just to make sure we're not making it with any weird data or anything. And then we're going to put in a bunch of values from 0 to 10, and we're inserting them at the beginning using that push front method. So we're just putting them at the beginning. So we're walking backwards each time and stacking the higher value before the one we just did. So this one is the first one we put in, and then we put in this one, and then this one, etc. And then we just check and make sure it was created, and then we show what the length is, and then we output each of the things in the list using these two functions. And then we're just testing the insert code by putting the value 11 at the position 4. So then we count through from the beginning, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then at 7, we're like, okay, so this is pointing to 6. So we create 11, we create a cell with the value of 11 and point it to 6. And then we set the value with the cell with the value 7 and point it to 11. So then it continues the chain. And then we just output the length and what the list is again.
Hey, Augie, do you mind if we make a very small change to a method further up, actually, just to
Sure.
Okay, thanks. The while loop where you have while pos greater than 1, can you please change that to a regular for loop so that you remove one potential hurdle in the minds of someone who's trying to understand it? Because this is while that kind of loop is slightly a few microseconds harder to assimilate than a standard for loop. Yeah. So for size t I equals 0, I less than pos.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be I is 1 though for the same thing, or pos minus 1?
Yeah. So I equals 1. Yeah, for size t I equals 1.
I'm going to do I equals 0
yeah,
and
that's
then
really
pos minus 1, and that'll make more sense, I think. I is less than pos minus 1. I plus plus. So now it's counting up from the beginning. So that might be a little bit easier to make sense.
And then you want to get rid of the plus minus minus, yeah. So this is a whole lot easier for many people to.
Yeah. There we go. Just make sure it runs the same. It should.
So the only thing you need to be careful about here is that if someone passed you a negative position, you'd be stuck in.
It's the size t, but.
No, if I pass you a -1, you're screwed at that point, right? Because it'll come in as max. If I give you a -1 for pos,
well, it'll iterate through until it gets to the end of the list, and then it'll return false. right?
Um,
Because if it's a max,
I
if
see.
it's
No,
a
but are
max
you
value,
looking
it'll
for?
just
Oh, I see.
go
You are
back.
looking for pointer equals null.
So
Right.
this actually does cover that.
It covers that. Yeah. Yes. Except, yeah, you're right. You're right. It covers that. I was thinking that if it's a negative, it shouldn't go to the end. It should go to this side. But obviously, it can't go this side either, right? Because it's negative. It's not at 0.
It's a size t, so it's only positive. It'll just be max. If it's negative, it'll just skip over it.
Yeah, but you're right. We can handle that later. But the core essential logic has been captured.
Actually, if this was an int and it was negative, it would just set at the beginning. Would be what happened, because we're not using its position anywhere here. We're just starting relative to the beginning. Yeah, it'll just skip over this part, and then we'll get the beginning.
Oh, if it was negative.
Yeah.
If it was negative,
if we actually put in a negative.
No. If I passed in a negative, it won't skip over it because
no,
POS will be a 4 billion.
Yeah, well, in this current setup with size t, it'll be 4 billion, and then we'll break at whatever the end of the list
End of the list is,
but,
yes. It'll go to the end of the list and break there.
But if this was an int instead of size t, even then it would work, and it would just set it to be the beginning of the list.
Yes.
This would already be false.
Yes, Augie, you're right. Thank you for that clarification. What Augie is saying is that if that was an int, it'll work either way, although it may not be your intended output. Right, but it won't crash the program. It won't crash the program.
No matter what value you put in for the position. So this is pretty much safe.
Yes, it is safe. That's the important thing. Yeah. So is that clearer? Does that make sense now?
I think so.
Great. So what we did was basically, this is fantastic. We managed to create an entire list as an object, and we wrote methods that will tell you what the length of the list is. We wrote another method. We'll take a new item and stick it at an arbitrary location inside of the list. We did that too, right? And so this is really the core of your list manipulation methods. And you may eventually go on to embellish this list code and create a full-fledged list class like STL, right? And maybe it's like 250 lines. I'd be surprised if it's bigger than 250 lines, right? Even if you have, I think the STL list code, if not for the templatization, I think is less than maybe 100 lines. It's very simple.
I mean, yeah, this is only 65 lines with also a whole bunch of spaces in there.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Someone actually looking at it right now.
So there's probably
you're talking about
like
your code. You're talking your code. I thought you were talking about.
Oh no. I'm talking about my code right now. Yeah. But it's probably only like 40 or 50 lines.
Yeah. And even if you decide now to add all the methods that STL list has and you don't have, right?
Yeah.
You may need to make some changes to this class.
Probably around 100, maybe, but not more than 200 unless there's like a crazy amount.
Absolutely. That's what I think. So this is a very nice little thing, and we actually started it today. We finished it today. We're good on time, right? What time is it now? Yeah, we're just coming up to the end of class.
Yep. I guess we could real quick,
yeah, sure. Go ahead.
If we real quick, it did made it so you could have any type of value stored in the list, because it shouldn't take more than a few minutes.
Well, yes, you're right, but let's not do that. We don't have time right now. But what Daniel is saying is that now that you've got the basic functionality going, he's saying that it is now a piece of cake, also, like a couple of lines where you could turn this list into a list that can handle any data type, not just ints. Right now you have a list of integers or size t, right? So Daniel is saying, well, can I use exactly the same code to get a size of strings, a list of strings, a list of pet objects, a list of any damn thing? Right? And it's just 2 lines of change. You can make that. So not 2 lines, really, just some, copy and paste But it's very trivial. It's a trivial change. That's what Daniel is saying. We won't do that. We won't, yeah, because
Also,
all of that you'll cover in 2B, because, you know, that's all not part of the concept understanding. It's just
right.
facts. Those are
Also-
facts that you have to remember.
Daniel was gonna say something.
Also, I have a little nitpick. Cell should probably be inside of the list class, because it's only used there and it's kind of an internal thing.
So we could get like cell to be a private class in here.
Yeah,
In
because
inner
it's kind
class,
of
yeah, it
internal
doesn't-
code.
You can make it in
Code. So
private
if
inner
someone
class.
included, it's like, let's say there's a header. If someone included this, they'd also get cell without knowing it, and also it could conflict with their code. And it's probably best just have it inside of linked list because it's really only used by linked list for linked lists.
Can I just select this and indent?
Yeah, I
Let's
think so.
see.
You should be able to do that.
Yeah, there we
Great.
go.
Yeah.
All right, and it should run fine. Yeah, all right. So
Excellent.
yeah, now cell can only be accessed via linked list.
And it's private. Nobody
Uh-huh.
can actually instantiate a cell at all. Even if they qualified it with, you know, linked list colons to cell, they can't do it because it's private.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the cells actually can't be messed with by things outside of the linked list.
Yeah. Very
All right.
nice. And the program looks nice and neat, and you know, it's functional. It's great. I'm happy we did this today and we wrapped it up. We wrapped it up completely. And so if can you Chan extension working on 5 got stuck. Okay, yeah, Chan, if you submit quest number 6 before the final exam, all of you, not just Chan, okay, before the final exam, 1 day before the final, right? I'll import all the scores, freeze the scores on the day of the final. So 1 day before the final, submit. If you manage to get to the password of quest 6, you will pass the course. Okay. So, but try and get to do that. Don't waste all your time just
Wait, so
fiddling with
just making
quests.
sure, are we getting the password to quest 6 or the password?
Yes. No, not to quest 6. You got to finish quest 6 and get
Okay.
the password. Get the password for quest 7. You need to get.
So we
you
need to
know how to
finish
get to
quest
Martin.
6. All right. Just want to make sure and clarify.
Yeah, thank you for that.
So up to and including quest 6.
Yes, that
Getting
means passing with a C
completed
or
and-
no. D is not a pass. D is not a pass, Chan. Okay, at Foothill, C plus I think, or C minus. One of those is pass.
I think it's C minus probably.
I'll find out.
Usually
Yeah.
C is a pass.
Oh, D is a pass.
No, C.
C.
C is usually not a pass.
Okay. So yeah, I'll make sure that you get at least a C if you get up to 6. No, I didn't say the name of the quest I mentioned was Martin, not Crow. Crow is 6. Martin is 7.
Mhm.
If I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
All right.
you get to that, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. We managed to get this done. If anybody has any questions, any doubts as to what's going on, any concept clarifications, anything more that you need from me, yeah. Augie, not only should you drop the links in here, nobody posted the code for the stack class on Reddit, right? So I think some of you should post the code for, not the code, or at least the links for the stack class and this on the subreddit and discuss it, okay? Because that's the way the rest of the class. Because, you know, think about it. Some online students are here, but, you know, most of you are just face-to-face students. There's a whole bunch of online students for whom lectures are, you know, not convenient, right? They're welcome to it, but they can't make it. So you got to share this code, share the stack code in the subreddit, so they can come and look at it and ask questions and so on and so forth. Okay, so it'll be absolutely fantastic. So we got one more class on Thursday, and on Thursday I'll talk about recursion and dynamic programming.
All right, I'm gonna post the 2 links for the things I just did.
Yes, on Reddit. Yeah, please.
I'm doing
please
that
do
right now.
With a commentary to help other students would also be nice. Okay, so here and there, make some you know, comments outside of your code, saying, hey, this is what we did, and try it out, and also maybe suggest some experiments people could do take your code and then make some experiments of their own
Yeah.
using your code. And if you make some suggestions there, that'll be really cool. So next Thursday, yeah, this Thursday, we'll do our last class. And then I'm happy to do, who wants a class next week, right? This is week 12. I'm technically not supposed to teach next week, okay? At Foothill, instructors are not allowed to introduce new material in week 12. So I don't have to introduce new material. It doesn't mean I shouldn't talk about old material, yes? Because, you know, I could technically come here and study with you guys, right? I could say I'm also studying for my finals. So there's no law that says that I shouldn't do it. So I'm happy to do that. If any of you want a class on Tuesday, next Tuesday, that's Thursday, there is a class. Come to class on Thursday, okay? But if you want a class next Tuesday, you should let me know, right? And you can ask me any of the concepts that we've covered from day one all the way, data representation all the way to linked lists, right? Any concept that is still confusing, you want us to discuss again, you would be able to ask. We'll do a complete review on Tuesday. So let me know. Give me an initial show of hands in chat, and then you can take a poll on Reddit and say, well, you know, there's this many people who want a class. Can you do it? Okay, so can you just say yes or no in here? You don't have to. Next Tuesday would be great. Yeah, okay. All right, cool. I'm happy to do that. So great. So to take a poll on Reddit, and if enough people want a class on Tuesday, I'm happy to do a class, on Tuesday morning, and then after the final too, right? After the final, if you have more questions about C++, about other things, right, not related to C++ or computer programming, that's fine. Okay, so tell me if you want a class after the final, and I will be happy to do that. And check my CS2B subreddit post. Okay, I posted. If I don't know if any of you are musicians, right? If I don't know if one of you in this class is a musician or a blues musician, especially, right? Because check my CS2B subreddit post. I think I made a post yesterday, or maybe day before yesterday, right? There is a little song, a blues song, okay, that appeared in the subreddit, and if you can set the song to music and get a bunch of your friends and, you know, record it and post a link to YouTube, and you get a decent number of votes, like, you know, the most number of votes, like 2 or 3, 5, I don't know, the most number of votes, I'll give you $100, a solid $100 I will transfer to you via PayPal, Venmo, or just give you an Amazon gift card, whatever it is, what you want to do, right? I'm happy to do that. $100 for writing a song. How much better can it get to wrap up a course? Okay, so there you go. You got an open challenge and a tantalizing puzzle reward, creativity exercise for you to sink your teeth into. And again, thank you all so much for attending class today. And I will look forward to seeing you on Thursday. We'll do recursion and dynamic programming. We'll do some problems also. Yes, I saw that post, Daniel. Thank you for doing that. Okay, you may find that many people don't click on it right now. That's just because it's in 2A, and people are looking at more of a 2A material, especially before the exams. So they may not dive deeply into the code that you posted, right? But I'm sure it'll be useful for people, because remember, anything you post is not just for your classmates today. Okay, think about it. You go to my CS2B and 2C, and they're all saying, well, I'm looking at these posts made by, you know, people several quarters ago, and they say, oh, that was so useful, right? Well, you know, those guys ran into the same bug that I did, and they fixed it, and this is how you do it, right? So whatever you do now is really likely to be useful for eternity, right? So eternity, because once it's digitized, it's immortal, right? So what you post, you like Daniel's code, hash maps and infinite series and all those things, they will be useful for people down the line, right? Don't automatically assume that you posted something and nobody saw it, and so it's, you know, evaporated. No, okay, it doesn't happen like that. Posted something and it's there, biding its time when the world will be ready to see it. Okay, so you make something really cool, a cool contribution. Most people may not even appreciate it until such time as they've got the CS2A background, right? Or, you know, other background knowledge. And then at that point, when they see your post, they say, hey, that's really cool. You know, I should share it, and things like that. Okay, so don't shy away from sharing. What's the worst? You know, what's the worst that could happen? People would say, well, you know, it's not interesting to me, I'm just going to skip it, right? They're not going to say that person should not be admitted to any college because they said the stupid thing. No, I don't think any college, any self-respecting institution of education will deny admission to a person just because they said something wrong. Right? In fact, in colleges, we want people who think incorrect things, so that we can say, why do you think that thing, right? It doesn't hold up to this test. That is a contradiction. Here's a contradiction, right? It says this is counterexamples, right? So why do you think these wrong things, or at least wrong according to our perspective, right? Convince me that I'm wrong, then I'll say that I was wrong and you're right, and that's the way I should do it. But in a college, in an educational institution, we're always trying to look for people that think things that are different from what we think, so that we can, clarify and get to the same page. Either I'm right or you're right. We can't both be right, man. Explain, right? So that's what college is, right? Universities. So thanks very much for coming to class today, and I will see you on Thursday. Okay. You guys are still here. All right, I got to stick around before you go. I don't know, maybe I don't, right? Yeah.
Professor,
Yeah.
so just to
Is it
clarify,
me? Is it me?
quickly, yeah. When is the deadline for like the class? Like when does it
Yeah, well,
close? Is it this Sunday?
Chan wanted finals. Well, we wanted to change the deadline to finals, right? So let's say it's a Wednesday, not Sunday.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
because your final is on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say Wednesday is the freeze date for your quests, and make sure that you're done with everything by then. And also make sure you have enough time to study for your finals after doing it. Because, that was my main concern. When I said, Wednesday is okay, the thing that is, raised alarm bells in the back of my mind saying, oh my gosh, are you doing the right thing, man? Was really that, if I do that, then people will say, I'm going to do the quests until Wednesday, right? Forget about the finals. And then you have like 2 hours to prepare for your finals. And you start cursing everything, right? So that was my greatest fear. But now I've told you that. So keep that in your mind and say, well, I need time for the finals too. I want to make sure that I don't, okay, so I think you'll be fine. You'll be fine. We'll talk more. We'll talk more about the final next class and what to do after and so on. All right. Okay, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure teaching you today. See you on Thursday.
See you on Thursday.
Thank you, Augie, and thank you, Giorgio, Flavio, Daniel, for volunteering to do this.